Nearly 4 years since its release, Gran Turismo 7 is on track to become the best-selling game in the franchise's near 30-year history. With over 100 million sales for the franchise now complete, a free Spec 3 update with new cars, changes to gameplay and 2 circuits was recently released. But perhaps even more significantly, GT7's first optional DLC is available, the Power Pack. And in a typically Polyphony Digital way, it's like nothing else you've ever experienced. First, the basics. The Power Pack. Power Pack is a single-player add-on for the main game, priced at $30. As it uses the advanced AI agent Gran Turismo Sophie to power your rivals, more on that soon, this is only available for those with a PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 5 Pro, skipping the PS4. As you boot into the game's main menu, you will see a large ship, and it's here where you can access the adrenaline-filled, race-face-enabled area. Why is it a ship? No idea. Questions on a postcard addressed to Kazunori Yamauchi, please. I reckon it's just where they had space on the map. This is for the focused, the dedicated racers, or as Sony put it, racing purists. Right from the off, its intentions are clear. There are 50 initial races in preset car combinations, laid out on a schematic structure seemingly inspired by the London Tube map. There are 6 coloured routes, each with a dedicated vehicle theme. So blue is American muscle, orange is Japanese cars from the 1990s, and yellow is historic rally and race cars. The aim isn't to buy cars and parts, then build up a garage collection, unlike the regular series format. Rather, you work your way through curated challenges, aiming for the endorphin rush, delivered by quite literally unlocking the next race. This is an elephant in the room for fans of Gran Turismo games of yore. There will likely be a cohort of individuals who cannot get past Gran Turismo 4. For them, that is the zenith of this series, never to be surpassed. However, the GT series has regularly innovated. License tests, weird concept cars, sport modes, scapes, the moon, shuffle races, being able to connect a printer? Some of these missed the mark, but most of them hit it. There's a continual theme of thinking outside the box. Power Pack is yet another slice of Polyphony Digital esoterica, possibly only appealing to those who are willing to commit. But for those that do, this is a cohesive experience that delivers, yet again, a forward-looking way of virtually racing. Each event allows you to select from just 3 pre-selected cars, acting as an allegory for the difficulty level. In a typically charming way, no chili pepper is easy, 1 chili pepper is medium, and 2 chili peppers is sweltering. And while GT Sophie, a learning agent created in collaboration with Sony AI that redefines computer-controlled racing, could be seen as the main draw, the real stars are these vehicles. No, you can't enter the event with your own GT7 car collection, but the machines here are finely crafted. The base models may be recognisable, but we don't think we can create these setups yourself in-game. These are more than a quick tune-up, but rather a thorough redevelopment with crackling overrun, sharp throttle responses and pin-sharp handling. The custom Mach 40 is an unruly beast usually, but the Power Pack version is a joy to drive, for example. This is the creation team having fun, let off the leash to create outlandish grids, all stickered up, bewinged and pumped full of attitude. It's not just the cars you will drive, but the artfully conceived grids you'll be racing within that are alluring. So, with that in mind, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Traxion's top 5 cars in the Power Pack. First up, the historic racing Ford GT. It stops and it steers, unlike the standard version. Then we have the racing Jaguar XJ220, because it looks like the Le Mans winner it could and should have been. Our third pick is the rally spec VW Beetle. It shouldn't work, but oddly, it does. Next, the Lancia Stratos. I mean, those light pods and a bright yellow livery with that design and that engine sound, come on. And finally, it's the Honda Civic Si Extra. A 2-chili weapon, this boxy brute features an overtly boisterous engine sound that you just want to continually rev out to hear. It's a shame then that we can't request these grids as dedicated classes to use elsewhere in the game, such as multiplayer lobbies for instance. You can at least earn 6 of these creations for use in any of the game modes. But which of the cars in the Power Pack is your favourite? Let us know down in the comments below. And remember, you can keep up to date with all of the latest Gran Turismo 7 news via the TraxionGG website and on this very YouTube channel if you hit that subscribe button. You will drive these wonderfully varied concoctions in races between 3 and 14 laps, generally. That means asphalt, dirt and snow, dry or wet, although for the most part, without the need for strategy. Instead, each event is a flat-out sprint against GT Sophie. Previously seen in a testing phase at Gran Turismo World Series events and then in-game, Sophie could only be used in custom races, until now. To this point, races against this agent have been relatively easy, but select a too chilly car, and it's like racing against Michael Schumacher at his most metronomic. We were able to win the first race in each path on this difficulty, but after that point can be seriously challenging. This AI system is unlike anything else in sim racing or driving games. There are times when it is truly a step forward for the whole genre, as it realises you're overtaking on the inside, deliberately runs wide and gets you on the cutback at corner exit. Its pace was never questioned, but the racecraft has been improved once again in this 3.0 iteration. Infallible though? No, not quite. It does still have some strange tendencies if you look hard enough. If one car comes out of pit lane and another is entering the first corner, they can crash into each other, and in fact, Sophie is generally a bit odd with collisions. On rare occasions, it can brake thinking there will be a crash when it's a mild rub, and other times wildly overreact. At Barcelona Turn 5 or into Daytona's first horseshoe hairpin, it always takes a defensive line, even if no one else is around. Sophie is, at times, like racing in a sport mode ranked race, and the dramatic pre-race intro showcasing the full grid builds the tension, if only this could be skipped once you've seen it a few times. You need to be clipping every apex, timing every braking zone with more accuracy than a Japanese train timetable, and avoid mistakes at all costs. If you'd like to finish on the podium of a too chilly race, qualifying is essential. Practice though, well, that's mostly skipped. There are times too when the racing can be surprisingly unbalanced. Winning every race in the yellow path on the max difficulty was relatively straightforward, but other paths proved to be much more of a challenge. Often, we found that a race could boil down to just you and one superior AI rival, dominating the track and lapping competitors way ahead of the field. Also, we're regularly left for dead by our competitors on the start line, and as manual starts are permanently switched off, you feel powerless. Some races do use rolling starts to minimise this effect. Lower things to one chili, more chili talk than a Jamie Oliver cookbook here, and the field seems to be more balanced, whereas no chili should be winnable for most drivers at a canter. Acting as a counterweight to the intense top-level races is a forgiving progression system. Completing a race unlocks the next event. You also receive stars after each, based on your position. The number of total stars you earn unlocks prizes and bonus events. 20 stars is the max score for a race for finishing first. If you finished 5th the first time, for example, and you win a second time, you then earn the remaining star balance. Crucially, you don't need to win an event to unlock the next main one on a path. Any finishing position will do. It makes progression very straightforward, and much like the real world, if a 6th place finish is all you can do, the racing season continues. Earning these stars is how you unlock the modified Power Pack cars for your in-game garage, simple cash payouts and roulette tickets too. So many roulette tickets. Now, it's time for a mild spoiler warning. There are secret events. Finish each race in a path, and a mystery endurance event will appear adjacent to that line. These are all endurance events, such as 6 hours around Fuji Speedway, 8 hours at Spa, and then 24 hours at Le Mans and the Nürburgring. There is no B-Spec mode as far as we can tell, so you'll be driving the full distance yourself, like prior series installments. However, there is a strange way of saving your progress mid-race. There's no on-screen option. Instead, simply pause at any point, long press the PS button, and close the game, as risky as it seems. Then, when you next start the title, you can resume from where you left off. You can save multiple endurance races at once, and when your progress is saved, you can use any other game mode until you decide to go back. Slightly strangely, however, upon the resumption, no matter the gaps pre-save, it lines up the grid for a rolling start again, with new tyres, but used fuel. Which is the Power Pack in a nutshell, really. It's like nothing else, with its distinct menu music, hardcore races, aggressive opponents, and some of the most satisfyingly modified cars in Gran Turismo history. At times, it feels like a completely separate game, in a way that perhaps only Polyphony can deliver, zigging while others zag. In our mind, there are now 3 tiers of GT on PS5. The free My First Gran Turismo for beginners, Gran Turismo 7 for the mass market, and the Power Pack for the motorsport aficionado. In many ways, trying to achieve maximum chili completion reminds us of GT Sport's Lewis Hamilton add-on, where claiming diamond times was nigh on impossible, but for those who were after a stiffer challenge, it was gratifying. Unlike that particular DLC, however, the Power Pack is more engaging and characterful. It may not be for everyone, purposefully by design, but we found that it suited us. Be sure to let us know your thoughts on the Power Pack down in the comments below, and leave us a like if you've enjoyed this review. Until the next video, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.